When we think about the mission of Blood Origins and what we want to do in conveying what hunting does for people all over the world, one of the narratives that are front and center, that essentially is a need of every single person, every single human on this planet, is the idea of food. Specifically game meat. Game meat has this connotation to it, which is, oh, it's yucky, oh, it's smelly, oh, it's dry, oh, it doesn't taste good. But tell that to a Michelin-star chef, or somebody that's worked in a Michelin-star restaurant that has learned techniques that create Michelin-star food. Bri Coelho is one of those individuals. Bri is a trained chef. She loves to hunt, but she absolutely loves to take food, specifically game meat, and make it into this dining taste experience.
We had a whole bunch of jalapenos in here, and we have bell peppers in there. There's some red ones. Oh, here's a good one. There we go.
So I never thought about hunting until I got into adulthood. I was raised with land and horses in the back and dogs, and my family just loved animals, and so that's kind of the relationship I had. I went fishing with my dad. That is the extent of my hunting back then as a kid.
Yeah.
So growing up in Southern California, anybody who grew up there will know it's very anti-fishing, anti-hunting, anti-everything. So I just grew up with that mentality, like hunting's bad, right? And then it wasn't until I moved to Georgia and I actually went to a sporting goods store for the very first time. And so when I walked into the sporting goods store, it kind of changed my view. At that time, I had already been a chef for many years, and something happened when I was in the archery section. So random, but I was like, why am I not hunting for my food? I source such good food for my restaurants or whatever I'm doing, but I just don't know why. But it was that moment I had like a light bulb moment that I should be hunting for my own food. And so it was then that I became passionate about where my food comes from. And not only there's a chef's perspective where we always want the best ingredients, because really a chef can cook things and do things, but it's the ingredients, it's the star of the dish, not really the chef.
Then I have red stag backstrap steaks.
Sweet.
That was killed on Wednesday.
I think the killing of an animal for food has a stigma around it. And I think that's why people say it would be evil, but yet they'll go to McDonald's and have a hamburger. So being educated on where your food comes from and having appreciation for that is what I think needs to happen. In my opinion, one of the biggest reasons I hunt for my food is I've seen factory farms, how we raise farm animals for mass production. And I do believe we need meat and humans need farm animals, but I also believe in respecting the animal's life, and they should not be in poor conditions as they're being raised for food. They should have a nice life, and that's what I love about hunting is I'm not out there taking the babies, I'm out there taking older animals that have passed their genes on or had their babies. And so they've had a beautiful life, and I respect that. And some may say it's evil, but I used to think it was evil, but now I completely have more respect for the animal. And then because of that, I have more respect when I'm preparing my meat. I treasure it so much more because I want to do this life justice.
Is it bad?
bloody magnificent. It is magnificent. I think it's incredibly important for us to show game meat in this light. I think game meat gets a bad rap. I think game meat gets this connotation for I don't know what reason.
I like to prove that you can do more with wild game than just grilling it or making a popper, which is like the common things. Like it can be treated just like any other protein, but you can dress it up and you can dress it down. So it can be a comfort dish and it can also be a high-end dish. If you know how to treat it right and put it in like a pressure cooker, it's a simple act, but it's a simple cooking method. But you just, when you learn to figure it out, then you have like the most tender meat ever.
That's ridiculous.
You know, Bri is part of a community that we are starting to touch all over the world. A community of chefs, a community of sous chefs, a community of people that just love the idea of food and the idea of presenting food and creating food that is exceptional. And specifically people that are using wild game to do just that.